So, Brightburn, I tell you what, I didn't care for it, alright? I just found it way too negative, way too pessimistic a film for me, alright? I like good to win in the end, alright? And I don't like movies that just have this sort of nihilistic, nothing matters, righteous cause will not win in the end, the protagonists are all meaningless and all gonna die, spoiler alert. All the good people in this movie die. His parents die. His family dies. It's the mother of that poor girl dies. It was too depressing a film for me. All right, I know it was going for the whole inverse of the Superman mythos. An alien comes to Earth as a baby, is raised by decent folks, but instead of becoming a hero for mankind, it becomes a villain for the world. Seeking the world's destruction. So I appreciate the twist on the story. It felt kind of original and all that. The acting was pretty good, especially Matt Jones, the guy who plays his Uncle Noah. Oh, that poor guy. His death was horrifically over gratuitous with the violence. That's the other thing about this movie. It was too graphic with the violence. It felt a bit out of place. The tone was all wrong. It was trying to be like a drama at one point, and then it would turn to a suspenseful drama, and then it would turn to like a torture porn, bloody over the top with the violence. The glass in that poor lady's eye, that Matt Jones guy's lower half of his face being ripped off, and he's still alive and conscious while he's trying to hold his face together. That was just, I feel like it was too much. They didn't need that level of violence. I've seen violent movies, and I don't really like torture porn, gory stuff like that, especially when it's over the top. It's warranted in a war movie where they're trying to show you the horrors of what it's really like and all that. But in this movie, I feel it was just, they could have cut away. They didn't have to show that much. I guess it made it memorable, and that's what they were going for, I think. But I just feel like it felt out of place in a superhero sort of movie. They could have still had the dark, serious tone like the Joker did, but the Joker didn't have over-the-top, gratuitous violence like that. So I feel like that was out of place in this movie. But that actor, Matt Jones, who played the uncle, he was great. I really bought the whole sequence from when he finds the kid in his house up until his horrific over-the-top murder in his car. I found his performance to be really believable, and he really sold it. It wasn't over the top, he didn't ham it up, but just he really played a drunk guy who was freaking out. He played that really well. And especially the bit where he sees the kid levitate off the street, and he's like, nope, not, like his brain's not accepting what he's seeing, and he's trying to convince himself he's just, hallucinating in a drunken stupor. So I found that's one of the few positive things I can say. The kid's performance was good as well. We played Brandon Breyer. Elizabeth Banks was all right in it. The dad, the guy who played Kyle Breyer, the dad, he was pretty good too. But the movie was just too damn depressing for me and too pessimistic, as I said earlier. It takes a lot for me to really enjoy a movie where good doesn't win in the end, and it just ends on a depressing note. There are very few exceptions, like maybe The Mist from '07 and like The Blair Witch Project, and I can't think of any others off the top of my head where it sort of has a negative sort of depressing ending that I actually enjoy. But those movies excelled in all departments so that I could forgive the ending, you know what I mean? Or it sort of worked with the movie. I didn't feel like this worked with the sort of the movie that they were going for. But hey, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love this movie. And I'm not saying, like other folks were saying, oh, this movie should have never been made, it should have been banned and things like that. No. All right? It shouldn't have been banned. It's good that they released it. People get to, people who liked it get to watch it, and people who hated it get to, shit on it in a review, like I am, I guess. So, what else can I say about the movie? The action pieces, the set piece, I guess the horrific moments where he would, wreak havoc. They were shot pretty well, especially when he starts demolishing his own house and his mum's freaking out. That was a nice wide angle shot of that. That was one of the highlights of the movie. And some of the cinematography was quite good with the small town and the way they would do the lighting, especially with the red lighting. I always find red lighting looks so damn demonic and effective in suspenseful sort of horror thrillery movies. So I found that to be pretty good as well. Overall, I'd say, what's the message of the movie supposed to be? I guess the mum was blinded by her maternal love for the kid. She was blinded to his faults and his potential psychotic nature and the signs he was showing of it. Even the dad could notice it. And he loved the kid too, but he could notice it. He could see it. He wasn't blind to the kid's faults. He was for a while, but he caught on pretty quick. And the mum, right up until the end, until she found his, horrific, disturbing pictures, did she finally clue into what was going on. So I guess that's the message. Maybe be more aware of what your kids are getting up to, and if they're showing, what their true natures are, if they're showing any signs of, having disturbing elements within their nature that you can catch early on and help them overcome. I guess maybe that is the message they were going for. I don't know. That's what I sort of took out of the movie. But could they have even helped him? I mean, he was so overpowered. Even if they did, would he have just lashed out earlier? Plus, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but wasn't the kid sort of his crazy psychotic nature and his powers, wasn't that sort of activated by the ship when he was at the age of 12? Because up until then, he seemed to have a happy childhood. He seemed to be a well-adjusted, normal kid. And he didn't even have the powers. Although the dad did mention later that he's never seen the kid bleed. But he never had like over-the-top flying abilities and stuff like that until the spaceship sort of activated him at the age of 12. So that was interesting, I guess. Look, the story was interesting. It felt pretty original. And like I said, the acting for the most part was pretty damn good, especially standout Matt Jones, Uncle Noah. And it was quite suspenseful and all that, but just for me, I couldn't enjoy it because it was just too damn pessimistic at the end, and it didn't rise to the level of a Blair Witch Project or The Mist for me to truly love the movie and for the ending to feel like it fit. But hey, guess what? Maybe this is setting up for a sequel so that, a true hero can come and fight for truth and justice, which, I like to see in movies. So maybe, there will be a positive ending in the next movie. I might enjoy the sequel more, and it might make me enjoy this one more if I know that there's a happier ending in the future. Also, I've got to say that Michael Rooker cameo at the end, where he's playing an Alex Jones-like character, and he's sort of ranting and raving about conspiracies at the end. That was very funny. I had to pause it as well so I could see the names of all his other videos in the sidebar, because it was supposed to be like YouTube. And so yes, that was pretty good at the end there. I even looked up that channel that he had. I can't remember the name of it. Truth Bomb Productions or something like that, to see if it was a real channel on YouTube, but it's not. So anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I don't have much else to say about the movie. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my take on it. But just not for me. Too dark, too pessimistic. Didn't feel right with the tone about how violent it got and showed, especially when there's kids involved. I don't like seeing that kind of gratuitous violence in a movie that has children in it. But hey, maybe I'm old-fashioned and maybe I'm being too sensitive. But that's just me. Although I'm glad to see there was no politics in the movie for the most part. It seemed pretty neutral. It was just telling a story, and that's how most movies should be. Good or bad, just tell your damn story and don't have an agenda. So I'll give it that. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And stay tuned for more videos. Take care, be good, and I'll see you later.